Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's recording. This recording will cover weeks 3 and 4. There is a lot of interrelated information that you'll need to cover that time span with assignments and tasks. So I'm going to walk you through it. Just know that these 2 weeks will be very important in terms of process, and I will indicate what activities you might want to do or tasks you might want to do in each week to help prepare for the assignments that are embedded in these 2 weeks. So I'm going to go to modules. Oh, you know what? I always do this. Let me go back and go into student view so you can see the screen as though you would see it as a student. Okay, so now I'm going to go into modules. All right, so week 3 and 4 are actually the first 2 weeks of Module 2. And Module 2's title is Differences, Diversity, and Data-Driven Literacy. So what I'd like for you to think about in these next couple of weeks is just from the perspective of what you have learned so far about the general ideas of what content area reading is. And you've had an opportunity now to take some time to go through the process of sketching out a lesson. And now we're going to take it to the next level. And what I hope that you see with my course is that things are interrelated and connected. And so you actually use that lesson sketch assignment to help you move forward in weeks 3 and 4. So let's just take a look at the overview link. So if you'll take some quality time to read through this, there's some data that you will be provided and information about universal design for learning. That's to accommodate for the diverse learning needs that you have in your classrooms, regardless of the fact that we oftentimes hear of diversity in terms of learning from a perspective of those who struggle, but we also know that we have diverse learners in multiple caveats and categories. And so universal design, the best way to really put a visual for you to define universal design for learning is how we see that in buildings we see ramps, and ramps are there for accessible entry for those who may not be able to walk up the steps. But in the reality of it, a ramp can be utilized by anyone. So when you think about universal design, it's about building and creating learning opportunities that have accommodating features in them to meet multiple needs, to meet diverse learning needs of all of the students, individuals in your classroom, or maybe even some small groups with similar learning needs. And so as you go through the week 3 and week 4 content, I really want you to be mindful of this term universal design, because if you truly embrace that idea in that planning process, you will be able to meet the needs of all of your students so much easier if you think through the mindset of designing lessons that are accommodating. And so if you'll notice, you're going to use the completed content-specific lesson sketch to be able to do the assignment for 2.1. And so that's just something I wanted to reiterate for you. So yes, you've turned it in and may not have a grade at this point, but those are forthcoming. But at the same time, you still have a sketch of a design that can help you to be able to deepen your understanding about supporting those different learning needs. So you'll use that sort of as a framing reference for the work for this week. You have a student reading analysis and support strategy development assignment, and that's worth 50 points. And the completion of that assignment again, another opportunity for one thing to build upon another. The completion of that assignment is going to support the other assignments that are listed in week 3 and week 4. So this assignment has to be completed before you can move into assignment 2.2 and 2.3. So you have to really structure your time for your learning in the next 2 weeks in a way that's sequential in nature. So what I'd like for you to do, if you look at number 5, for week 3, you're going to read the directions listed in 2.3 assignment. Okay, so now notice there's 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3. But the reason why I'm having you jump ahead to 2.3 is because you will be working collaboratively in week 4 with some job-alike groups. So there's going to need to be some things that are done in week 3 so that week 4 can be successful in getting that collaborative assignment done. Okay, so you'll really need to take a look at the directions for 2.3, and then in week 4 you will work through both 2.2 and 2.3. Okay, so week 4, you're going to work with a small job-alike group to complete that assignment 2.3. And I'll walk you through this in the modules to help show you how to access this information. But at the end of week 4, you'll submit that project, that group project, into the course Dropbox. Now, it's going to be one document, but everyone who participated and contributed to that work actually will be graded on it as a component of your 50 points. So each person will get 50 points. All right, so let's look at what that actually looks like. So 2.1 is that 50 pointer for this week, week 3, okay? And so you'll use your lesson sketch assignment, and you're going to compose a 1 to 2 page written commentary that explains the following, and those things are listed there. So you're going to describe something, and you're going to move into describing something else, and then you're going to describe another element of that lesson as it relates to that lesson. And then you're going to explain what a teacher might do to engage both types of readers during that lesson sketch that you did. And then the 5th component of your written assignment will be that you're going to summarize how all this differentiated literacy skill development supports reading comprehension as a whole. So a written assignment, 1 to 2 pages, and you would just follow the information listed there in numbers 1 through 5. All right, then you have a discussion board for 25 points this week. So this is week 3, but then you will actually be responding, and you'll have week 4 to kind of go back in and respond to 2 other classmates. So we'll open it up for the full 2 weeks, but it's based on the reading that you have in your resources in this module. So there is something called an SAMR framework, and that framework is in support of integrating technology, and other technology literacy connected resources are available in this module so that you can be thinking about universal design, the differentiated needs in your classroom, and then how technology might support those different learning needs. And that's why I want you to become very familiar with the SAMR framework. Okay, and some of those other connected resources will help you to understand literacy in the classroom with the use of technology. So week 3 and 4 will kind of be combined together with this process of the discussion board. But I encourage you, the more familiar you are with it and the assignments that are connected to it, don't wait till Wednesday of week 4 and try to complete, because the richness of your responses will not be there, and it will be evident. So I want you to read the scenario. It's about Fernley Elementary School and how they transitioned from using a lot of printed materials, books and papers for their students, to within a 10-year span that 80% of the instruction was supported by technology. And this is for fourth and fifth grade. Now, I know many of you are not in the elementary realm, but listen to the overarching goal and think about that from a perspective of any grade level could be targeting 80% of instruction being supported by technology. This just happens to be a scenario of a rural school in Nevada that moved into this idea of supporting students learning and literacy learning with technology. And so your first initial post will be to discuss what they could have done in the beginning to meet that goal and how might that technology use have increased their literacy goals at the same time. And then I'd like for you to include information or ideas found in the resources that are provided in the module to show me that you're doing the reading. That's going to help enrich your discussion post because you're going to use information from your own learning and from your reading to be able to expand upon this idea of using technology to support literacy. And then, of course, very similar to our previous discussion board, you will respond to two classmates. So I want you to really try to deepen your ideas for thoughtful explanation, and you can use quotes from your reading. Just please make sure that you document that with appropriate APA format. All right, so here's what I really want you to pay attention to as well. This final assignment for week 3 and week 4 is 2.3. Okay, so, and here again, it says make sure you read everything and scroll to the end. So what I have done is I have categorized you into groups and assigned a team leader for each group. And so the first thing that will happen in week 3, one of the first things, is I want you to look over the expectations for 2.3. Even though 2.3 is not due until later, there are some things you need to do to help prepare for 2.3, okay? So each team or group is going to be assigned a team leader, and that's noted as I scroll down, you'll see. And then those team leaders during week 3, not waiting till week 4, I would like for you to reach out to one another and get a game plan in place for how you're going to work collaboratively for week 4 and possibly even some of week 3 if you choose to do so. It's wide open. You can use whatever you feel most comfortable with. Just make sure that your group members are also comfortable and able to access some type of virtual meeting space. So Zoom, Skype, Google Hangout, whatever you choose to use. If you need support with something like that, I do have access to WebEx and can offer that. You just have to reach out to me and ask me. Week 3, group members who are not available, this is important too. Yes, the goal is for you to work collaboratively, and you'll see why, because you're going to be working as a professional learning community as though you would be in a school. But if for some reason you are not available to work virtually, there's a number of circumstances as to why someone might not be able to do that. Now, I know that those circumstances are there, but I really encourage you to work as a group because you are going to be able to cross-reference one another's thoughts, and the assignment will be much better if you're able to work together. However, I do understand that that may not be available. If that is the case, I need for you to still complete that assignment as an individual. So you're going to turn it in a separate Google Doc for credit for that assignment or a downloaded Word document. And you would just have to do it all alone. And that would be unfortunate, but I completely understand. And so I've noted here that it's not optimal for you to have to work alone, but it is something that if it has to be done, we can work through that. But the teams are listed and they'll complete that assignment as a team. And what you have to do is you'll have to make a copy of the assignment because it's in a Google form, but it's in view only mode for you all. So you'll have to make a copy of it, and then you'll have to note your group within the context of your team and then submit it for your team. So the team leader will actually be the one to submit the completed form, and the individual responses will be on that one document. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a moment. So here's some groups. So we have the record breakers, and Tanner will be the PLC leader for that. We have the metabolics, and Colleen is the leader for that. We have the bookworms, and Ashley B is the leader for that. Keenan, you have the code readers. Caitlin, the miracle whips, and Kyle, you have the creative crew. So going back up there, week 3. So that means this week, talk with the other team leaders, find out how you all want to go about reaching out and getting some kind of consensus for working collaboratively with your team. And here are your team members, okay? Now, one suggestion that I would make is we actually did a flip grid the first week of school. You can actually, as a team leader, go in and you can have a conversation thread that is video driven in Flipgrid. So you all can have some conversation about meeting with one another and working collaboratively and cross-checking dates and times through Flipgrid if that works for you. If it doesn't, certainly use email, whatever works for you. But really, as an educator, we have to learn how to be teachers that are leaders, not only in the classroom, but outside of our classroom in the profession, in our schools. And so this is an opportunity for you to show some leadership. And I encourage you to be able to not only do that if you're named a PLC leader, but as a group member, working together and collaborating together is going to be key to your success as a professional in the field. So folks, I just say I really want to see some good, strong collaboration, but I don't want to pinpoint you and tie you down to a certain venue or a certain date and time. I'm certainly available to help. And Tuesday evening from 6 to 7, I will open up my WebEx meeting room for anybody who's having some difficulty or would like to just kind of talk about this. All right, so let's take a look at what this is. So the small group content specific activity is a scenario-based activity. So what you'll do is as a group, you'll read this letter from the principal at ABC School, okay? And you are the teachers at ABC School. Again, you'll have to make a copy and rename the Google Doc for your team's response. And then you will determine how you'd like to work together to complete the group task, okay? So I've provided you with the teams and the grouping, and that was based on your area of study. And if there were some folks who might have been able to go in a group with some other folks to keep you from having to work alone, I did that. So I think like there's a math teacher in with maybe some health and physical education folks, but just thinking in terms of some things that that maybe you could have in common. I didn't want anyone to have to work alone. Let me get rid of this. All right, so team leaders will submit one Google Doc for the group. Just make sure everyone's name's included on it and that you've met the requirements for participation, okay? All right, here's the assignment. You would read the information here about being a staff member at ABC School, and the school principal, Ms. Learn, sends you all an email, and the email is below, and you will work with your teammates to complete the document. Some areas of the document are specific to a group response, and others are relevant to your individual responses. So here's your email, and you'll read through that. And then there is your proposal form. So this is what you're actually going to turn in as your assignment. And so it looks like this. So your team members' names will go here, and then you can either choose a grade level or you can choose a content area that you're focusing on, and then you will respond to the information that's in this template, and it's relevant to the email. And it's really right here. It's describe how are what you would do to spend an allotted $1,000 per team, and it's to support literacy improvement in your school. So you'll go through as a team and you'll work collaboratively to add the team responses in this column. But then there are individual learning goals and ideas that you'll place here that are relevant to your own individual professional goals for your classroom if you were actively teaching at ABC School. So everyone will put their name and then they will have a response. Some things that some of my other previous students have done is they've actually had a different color for each of the PLC members' names, and that kind of helped to delineate those responses. Team leaders, remember, you have to make a copy of this for your own individual group, because if everyone tries to open this one up, it's in view only mode, and so you're not going to be able to add any edits to it. So make a copy of it. So you just go make a copy and then name it whatever you need to for submission from your team. Okay. All right. So going back to this, I'm going to actually get back into modules. And if you'll notice, week 3 and 4 are together, and there's the assignment listed there. The discussion board is listed here, and then that independent assignment where you're actually answering those 5 descriptive stems of information is listed as 2.1. Okay, so we've gone through 2.1, 2.2. We've talked about the grouping assignments, and then we have 2.3, and that's where your team leader will upload the final team document. If you have to do it individually, you will have your own individual document that you'll upload. Okay, now here are the resources that are going to help you. Okay, there's that SMAR framework I was telling you about. Here's an article about technology to improve literacy. When high school students struggle, this is going to help you with your assignment on your reading analysis and support strategy. Okay, and then elements of differentiated instruction. That is going to help you with all of your answers to your assignments for this week. So if, like I said in the very beginning, the first recording, if I have posted it, it's important. So don't skip it. Use it to the best interest of you as an individual learner, and then as you contribute to the discussion and to your group work, if everyone has had the opportunity to read through this and can capture some of that information that was relevant to your own learning in your responses, it will be much richer in nature. Okay, so week 3 and week 4. So that means when you're looking at due dates, this independent work 2.1 is due August 23rd. But your discussion board and your small group PLC work, August 30th, okay? But remember, there's going to be some work that has to be done in week 3 to be able to accomplish what has to be done in week 4. I know you all will do a fantastic job. It probably seems like a lot. I didn't want to waste too much of your time with this video, but I am available Tuesday from 6 to 7 in my WebEx room if you have any questions. Okay, so I look forward to seeing great work from you. I am going to go grade those lesson sketches, and I will get those and the discussion board grades into Canvas as soon as possible. So I look forward to more great work from you all. I'm really excited about this, and put those thinking caps on, get in a cozy spot, read this content. It's really great information to help you prepare for supporting students when you get your own classroom, or if you already have your own classroom, being able to build upon what you're already doing. All right, I look forward to hearing from you, and good luck.